Okay, my precious brothers and sisters in the faith out there, just adjust my screen a little bit. There we go. This is the last part in the series that I've been blessed to share with you called Witchcraft, Spells, and Charms. I hope that I have been clear to you about what witchcraft is, what spells are, and what charms are. They're all running buddies for one thing, and they're not good, you know. I've even heard the phrase where, he charmed me, but at the time I'm thinking charming somebody is not a bad thing. You're just trying to date them or give, give it a good impression is what I'm trying to say. And that's not even it. Remember, there was a TV show that came on called Charm. And it was about three sisters. They were all witches. And they made it seem like it was so okay because it was in their lineage and all this kind of stuff. But as I started off telling you, it was in my lineage too. And just because my forefathers and mothers and great great foreparents practiced this evilness, did not give me the right to do it too. And I thank God for my mom because she didn't practice any of that stuff. She didn't believe in it, and she taught us not to partake in it. So I just hope you got something out of it, basically, so that your eyes will be open, truly. Now, we just left off talking about the spells and the voodoo dolls and things like that, and I have another series on dolls. But I just wanted to show you these two dolls that I have. I've had these dolls for years. I used to be a really avid doll collector, and I stopped collecting dolls because I started realizing that some of the dolls I was collecting was, wicked, and so I had these, a lot of them I just destroyed them, and so at the time I gave some of them away, but some of them it was nothing really wrong with them. I didn't think it was. I just gave them away to charity, but I did keep a few of them, and these dolls that I have, I'm going to show them to you. I had these dolls in my room. I had like about three of them in there, and they were just kind of special to me because I liked the dolls. But after we moved here to our new dwelling place, I just started noticing that, you know, one of the dolls, I'll show you, she doesn't have a face on it. One of the dolls, she has two eyes, but she doesn't have a mouth or anything. And so it just felt like every time I would look at those dolls, the one doll in the little white I'm going to show you, it just seemed like the doll was watching me. And it wasn't just like I was tripping, okay? It was really like I would get up or when I would come in my room and I would always look and I'd be like, it just felt like somebody was watching me. And so I started really, really looking at my dolls and stuff. And so I prayed and I asked the Lord, I said, God, is there something wrong with these dolls? I said, you had told me there was more things in my home that I needed to get rid of because, as I said before, I was trying to get a breakthrough in some things. And I know that there are several reasons why you can't get a breakthrough in prayer. First, one is sin. Sin is if you've committed an act that is ungodly or you are involved in uh, present sin, you're having sex, um, you've opened yourself up to maybe pornography or you're gossiping, you're doing something, it's ungodly behavior. You can have unforgiveness in your heart, bitterness. I try to make it a practice every day to ask the Lord to forgive me for my sins and to cleanse me of any unrighteousness, any unforgiveness, any bitterness. If there are people that I'm still struggling with, to forgiving them, by faith, I just forgive them. And eventually I know that I will get over it. I will get over it, but I still confessing, and I still ask the Lord to, help me to get over it. Sometimes people can do some things to you that absolutely can almost drive you to the point where you will want to hurt them. But, you can't hurt people because God says that we have to leave vengeance in His hand. So that's what I've learned to do. I've really learned to do that. So, anyways, I was just doing some research on dolls, and I came across this website. It's called demonbusters.com. I think that's the name of it. And they have a lot of really good information, especially if you're in the deliverance ministry, if that's your calling. That's my calling. It's my desire. It's my heart. It's my life's calling. I just want to see people set free and delivered. So the people, or the pastor, I think, he was saying that the word doll comes from the word idol. So I'm like, wow, that's interesting. Dolls are idols. Well, the history of them, they weren't something to play with. They were actually things that people used to bring harm to people. And they were things that they dedicated to these different other idols and everything. They were not toys. That's very interesting that dolls were not toys at first. And so, and I mean, people knew it. They knew this, you know. And so, I went and I got these. So after I read that and did the research on it, I got these dolls and I just started looking at them. And you know what I didn't really notice about the dolls at first, that, that's how I was saying that, how the Holy Spirit can open your eyes up to things. These dolls remind me of a voodoo doll. And you know why? Because look, you could take the pin and you could stick it in there. Now, we would see things like that in the movies, right? And we would think, can somebody really do that? Nah, that's no, nobody can do that. How can somebody do that? But as I grew up, I did hear stories from people in my family, and people just that I knew. They would say, "Oh yeah, people can really do that stuff. They can get a doll and they can do this and do that." And they would say, "Don't let anybody get your hair. Don't let anybody get your hair." And I'd be like, "What, really?" But did not really think twice about it. Not that I discredited it or said these people were crazy or anything, because sometimes people were telling you stuff. Sometimes God is planting seeds and information in you at that time, and He's going to pull it back up in your memory bank later on. So, I mean, I remember, they would stick it in the chest, or they stick it in their head, and then they show the person they be in pain and stuff like that. And so, I mean, this stuff is real. But what started bothering me about this doll was the fact that this doll did not have like a face on it. You know what I mean? I mean, it has the implication that, the hair, and, I mean, it really looks cute. You know, Satan will package up his evilness to look cute. That's what I had to learn, and that's what I've learned. He will make things look cute because he knows if you can see it for what it really is, you're not going to fall for it, right? So this is one of the dolls that I had in my room, and I've taken it out. And the only reason why I still have it because I have another message that I wanted to deliver, and I just wanted to make sure that before I destroyed it, that I didn't need it anymore. So, anyways, this is the one doll, and I'm going to show you the other one. And this is the other one I was telling you about, that she doesn't have any mouth, right? But it's the same principle. You can stick this doll, because I don't want to do it on, on the internet. I don't want to be, cruel or anything. But, okay, so child comes across this video, but you can stick it in the doll's arm. It's like a little, and isn't that what they do in the movies? Isn't that what people who practice this do? And I read to you that people order these dolls. Now, they had dolls on there where people would want to hurt someone. And there was 2 testimonies that the dolls worked. But, Satan is slick. Okay, now he made sure that he didn't put the testimonies on there about where they hurt someone. Just, oh, I got money and I got what I want and it really does work. And they really didn't say what it was that they wanted that they got. They just said they wanted more dolls. The first person said they wanted more. But yes, I always thought this was a cute little doll. But the strangest thing, it just felt like it was watching me. And the other thing is that um, about these dolls are when people make these things, I don't know who made this doll. I don't know in their heart what they were thinking about when they made these dolls. You see, people speak over things. You know, that's why we always should pray over our food. We should pray over our clothes. Even when my husband bought me my laptop, we prayed over it. You know, and I've learned that when you bring something into your house, you need to pray over it. Sometimes I'll forget, but as soon as I remember, I pray over it, and I dedicate it to the Lord for His use and His glory, and then that's it, and you move on. So this doll too will be being destroyed. And once again, I mean, she is cute, you know what I'm saying? But the implication is still there, and the origin of it. See, what a lot of things people don't realize nowadays is that we're looking at, okay, well now, this is the 21st century, people are not still doing that. Yes, they are. It is alive and it is well, and they are still doing it. They never stop doing it. They may have went underground for a while, but they are still doing these practices, and they absolutely don't think it's anything wrong with it. Have you ever seen a show called The Vampire Diaries? I mean, the same thing. Murder, wickedness, blood, everything is so evil. But these people are, they don't think it's anything wrong. They say it's their lineage and it was passed down to them and all this stuff. Okay, I will be destroying this stall too. The Bible talked about the people when they had gotten delivered from witchcraft. They burned all their books, they burned all their dark arts, whatever they had, and it came to a lot of money. Now, why am I saying this? Am I practicing witchcraft? No. I don't even know how that stuff works. But I do know that you can bring objects in your house unknowingly. See, that's what I'm saying. The enemy can make it look all cute. It's just a doll. It's just a doll. There's nothing wrong with it. It's so cute. But we don't know. I don't know. And some people will say, well, I'm not getting rid of my dolls. You know what? That is your choice. But I'm going to tell you something. For me, I don't want anything to stand between me and God. And you know what? God can give me 1,000 more dolls. He can give me thousands of more other things to decorate my house with. Beautiful things, pure things, clean things. More beautiful than these dolls. And nothing should ever be worth that much to us where we let it stop us from our growth in the Lord anyways. So it's just a matter of opinion. Am I telling you to get rid of your dolls? No. Am I telling you to destroy them? No. All I'm doing is presenting the information to you, and it's up to you if you want to find out more. Like I said, don't take my word for it. You can do the research. The Bible says that we are to study to show ourselves approved unto God, that we need not be ashamed. So in that day, when we are ready, or we meet people, or we're talking to people, we will be ready to explain and give an answer. And that's what I'm trying to do now. I am explaining and I'm trying to give an answer. Now I'm going to close out with this right here. These two things. This first thing is I'm going to here in Revelation, the 18th chapter. And so to bring everything that I've talked about from part 1 to part 11, it all is going to come down to this one scripture, okay? It's all going to be compartmentalized to squeeze it all together, right? Okay, here we go. Revelations, the 18th chapter. Now, this is Yahweh. This is God talking to his people. The Lord is talking to his people now throughout the whole earth. He's talking to his people in the United States. He's talking to his people in third world countries. Wherever they are, he is speaking to his people. And this is what he wants his people to know. In Revelation, the 18th chapter, it talks about the fall of Babylon. And it says in the first verse, it says, and this is John speaking, he says, "After all this, I saw another angel come down from heaven with great authority, and the earth grew bright with its splendor. He gave a mighty shout, 'Babylon is fallen. The great city is fallen. She has become the hideout of demons and evil spirits, a nest for filthy buzzards, and a den for dreadful beasts. For all the nations have drunk the wine of her passionate immorality.'" See, isn't that what is happening now? People, they're just giving themselves over to all these people who worship Satan. They're giving themselves over to these people who sing these songs to glorify him. They're not even trying to hide it in the music anymore. They blatantly will say stuff like, "I bow to you, Satan, hell to you, I love you, you're wonderful." They saying the words clear, like before they would say the words hidden, or they, say it backwards or something, but now they're just saying it out loud. I mean, plain, you know. And so, um, the nations, people of all races, are drinking the wine of her morality. She's saying, no, you can be a Christ follower. You can be this person. You can be whatever you want to be, and you can still live any kind of way you want to live. But no, that may be true for all the other belief systems that's running through the earth, all these other gods and goddesses and religions. But when you are a child of the Most High, when you are a daughter or a son of God, Yahweh, when you are a believer, when you are a disciple, when you are a chosen one, you are not supposed to partake in what the nations are doing. Remember, in the beginning of this message, God told his people, you're going to be in the world, but you're not supposed to partake in what the world is doing. You're on a mission here to do something different, and that's stand for righteousness' sake. Now, it goes on to say, the rulers of the world have committed adultery with her, and the merchants throughout the world have grown rich as a result of her luxurious living. Isn't that true? People have grown so wealthy because of the immorality, because of things they've done. They've taken advantage of the poor. They've taken advantage of people. Like I said, they've murdered, they've raped, they've pillaged. I have a story by this a guy's name is Chick from Chick Publishing, and he had a series of comic books, and they actually wrote his story in comic book form. And it is truly an amazing story. It is something that I would recommend any believer to read. And you can get that off of Cutting Edge Ministries. And he talks about how the priest would go and have people arrested for nothing. They didn't do anything. They wanted their property. Have these people locked up in jail. He told one time how they went through this village and they killed and murdered and they cut women's breasts off. I mean, why would you have to do that? And this is things that went on in history. But see, they don't tell you anything about this. That's why you have to do your research. That's what you have to find out for yourself. The Bible tells us to search, to seek, to knock until the door is open. So anyways, we can see this. And then he says in verse 4, he says, "Then I heard another voice calling from heaven, 'Come away from her, my people.'" Let me repeat that again. Then I heard another voice calling from heaven, "Come away from her, my people. Do not take part in her sins or you will be punished with her. So that's why the Lord is telling his watchmen and women all over the world to sound the trumpet. The trumpet back in the biblical days was a warning that the enemy was coming from afar off. There were men that were stationed on these watchtowers. I mean, if you fell asleep, you could actually die. You could lose your job. Okay, literally. You had to watch. And so people have become so disconnected. They don't watch. They don't pray. It's if they need a prayer, they get in trouble. They come running to you. Can you pray for me? Can you help me? And then everything starts going good for them again, and then they take off again. And they're running out there with the world, hanging with the world. When God says we are supposed to come out of her, now God's people and the world's people are mixed together, just like this. So He's saying, I want you to come out of. I want you to come away. When they say step away from the car or step away from that person, And so he says here, and then he says in verse 5, he says, for her sins are piled as high as heaven, and God is ready to judge her for her evil deeds. So, if we are practicing things, we have things in our home that don't belong. If we're doing things, hanging around people, going places we shouldn't be, when that time comes, God is ready to judge. I believe judgment has already started, but I mean, it's going to get worse than what it is. And when He is ready to judge the earth, first He's going to judge us, His house. He says already in His word that He's going to come to us first. And He says clearly in His word that if we are barely saved, we're barely saved, then how is it those who didn't take heed are going to be saved at all? I implore you sincerely, I am begging you, basically, please come out of the world. Okay, you may not have many friends anymore. They might call you cuckoo. They may say you're a holy roller. They might call you all kinds of names. I've already been through it, and I just have to stick with the Lord because He's on the winning side. He's not on the losing side. If you read the end of the book of Revelation, we win. We've already won. It's only a matter of time. How much time do we have? I don't know. But it's winding up for sure. So we need to be in the right place at the right time with our minds on the right things. Now, to show you how the world is in the movie industry, it's a funny thing. Now, when I watch movies sometimes, they'll tell you exactly what the devil is doing. I mean, the devil is so bold. He'll just tell you. And people are sitting up there talking about, oh, this is entertainment. No, he's acting himself. He's acting his little situations out on the TV screen. He's telling you that he's evil. He's telling you this is what you're going to look for in eternity. You're going to be terrorized and you're going to be tortured. Now, one night I was asleep and I woke up. It was early in the morning and I couldn't go back to sleep, so I turned the TV on. So when I turned the TV on, it was on cable and it was a movie on there. It was called Hellraiser. Well, I've never watched the movie, because it looks so, horrible. That thing, Hellraiser, he's either the devil or he's one of his commandos or something, but he is horribly, horribly ugly. And so what happened was it was a movie coming on after that I wanted to see, and it was only like about 5 minutes left or something like that. So I said, So I said, okay, well, I'm just going to look at it. So I felt just led to look at it. So I looked at the end of it, and this thing is talking to this man, and his name is Joseph. Now, this is what he says to him. I had to write this down because I couldn't believe that they're actually telling people this. God tells us this. He says that with the works of the flesh are. I talked about that already. It's sexual morality, it's lying, it's bitterness, it's unforgiveness, it's doing whatever you want to do. I want to do whatever I want to do. I want to do it my way. Those are the works of the flesh. So this is what this man, this being, Hellraiser, I don't know what he is, but he says to this guy, he's coming to get him, right? He's just going to take him to hell. That's what it, looks like, right? So he goes, Joseph, you allowed your flesh. And now let me tell you what the flesh is now. Flesh is bitterness, sexual morality, pleasures. You just do whatever you want to do. You're doing to people whatever you want to do. It's always about you. You're just selfish. That's it. You think, well, I don't care if I die having sex. I don't care. It felt good. That is the dumbest thing people can say. I hear people say, well, they died doing what they wanted to do. Let me tell you something. I know what it feels like to almost die. And I didn't feel good at all. I was scared. So I don't know why people say that. I don't know why people even believe that. But anyways, it's your choice. He says, Joseph, you allowed your flesh to consume your own spirit. And you are your own king. And this is the hell that you have created for yourself. See, God does not put us here to put us in hell. No. He puts us here and he gives us a choice. We can choose. Some people have made their choice. They'll tell you. I've heard people say on television, I'm going to hell, but I don't want to go to hell right now. Or I think the person said, I'm not ready to go right now, but I know I'm going. And this is a big TV talk shows person, okay? It's big time. And then it says, your flesh is killing your spirit. Well, your spirit is your soul, your emotions, your will. I mean, that's your eternal being of who we are. And then he says, you have forsaken yourself. Welcome to hell. Now I'm going to read it again, but I'm going to put my words in it. It says, Joseph, you have allowed bitterness, envy, jealousy, selfishness, sexual morality, whatever you wanted to do, to destroy your own spirit. And you are your own king. I'm queen, I'm king, I'm this, I'm that, I'm big time, And this is the hell that you have created for yourself. Your flesh, your envy, your jealousy, your bitterness, your unforgiveness, your selfishness is killing your spirit. You become anesthetized to things. You don't care anymore. You have abandoned, or you can use the word, you have deserted yourself. Welcome to hell. I thought that was so amazing that on television, the very same people who are telling people they're going to have a good old time and everything's going to be okay and it's just going to be a grand old time, are telling people you made the choice to listen to me, to my lies, to my deception. Welcome to hell. Now, I know there are some people out there, they don't believe that hell exists. They say there is no evil, there is no good, there is no God, there's just us, there's just me. And there are some people that are going to say, well, that was a really great message, but I'm sorry, it's not for me. Well, all I can say is this. I truly hope that you pick up the scriptures of the living word and you see for yourself. Read it before you give it a bad rating. Why don't you just give it a chance and read it from front to the end? I've heard so many people, they hated the word, they hated God, they hated the Bible, and they were going to discredit God, and they read it from front to end, or they read it from halfway to the middle, and by that time they were on their knees and they were asking the Lord to forgive them. And they've been on fire for the Lord, preaching and touching God's people, lives for God's people, touching God's people's lives for many, many years. People have been saved out of witchcraft. Bill Shoblin, he has really good books. He has a book on masonry. He does DVDs. He has a really good book now I'm reading on The Diary of a Vampire. It's amazing what he talks about in that book. And the Lord saved him. Doc Marquise is another one. He was into Satanism. He was in the Illuminati. He was really deep into that stuff, and the Lord saved him. It's so many people that have been saved. So it's not too late for you. If you're listening to this message, I know you didn't come across it by accident. There's nothing that happens by accident. It's all been by design. It all fits into Yahweh's plan. So anyways, here in the state of California, it is 8:03 in the night time. Today is actually the second day, which man calls it Monday. Remember, the evening and the morning were the second day. So it has been such a great journey with you. I hope you enjoyed this journey with me. Remember, I love you. I don't care what your nationality is, how rich, how poor you are, how tall or short, where you live. It doesn't make me any difference at all. All I care about is that we are all in God's family. And if the Lord has forgiven you and you're right with him, then you're right with me. The Bible says, only those who love me keep my commandments. That's the bottom line. So listen, take care of yourselves, take care of your families, get some rest, and don't work too hard. And remember, the Lord is on his way back. He is coming back to take back the earth, and he's going to give it back to his people. That's going to be something wonderful to see. Listen, I got to go, but I hope that all is well with your soul. You take care, and may Yahweh bless you and your family from now until the end of this age. Talk to you later.